Local productions on QTV are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Uncommon Sense. I'm Junia, and thank you for joining us. My guest today is Bridget Wall, entrepreneuress, owner of the Vanilla Bean Bake Shop in Midland. So welcome, Bridget. And I understand you're a relatively new owner of the Vanilla Bean.
I am.
And what interested you in becoming an owner of a bakery shop?
Well, I don't know. I just have always baked with my family, and I used to do it a little bit out of my house. Just needed something change, a creative outlet, and it just kind of took off from there.
Certainly, baking is one set of skills, but trying to figure out how much money you have to take in, and what is insurance, and what are regulations, and all that kind of thing. And how did you come to get the information that allowed you to do that?
I ask a lot of questions of a lot of people who have maybe owned a business in the past, or I don't know, a lot of information from Google, believe it or not. Really, I did get some information from the Small Business Administration when I first was looking into it. And they had a gentleman consultant, help me through it and guide me, and they actually are still contacting me and asking me if I'm doing well, and meeting with them actually next Tuesday to go over how I'm doing.
Does he meet with you on a regular basis?
No, just if I have any questions or if I need any help or anything like that. But yeah, finding out the regulations and stuff it's been interesting, trying to figure out what I need to do and when.
So I once had some friends who wanted to open a restaurant in the county, a French restaurant, and they had saved their pennies and so forth, and they were going to leave town and do it. But then they found the regulations. They'd have to put in handicap parking and handicap bathrooms and and they said they couldn't afford to do all that. As a bakery shop owner, you are not required to do anything like that, or are you?
Based on the way that we are licensed, we don't have tables for people to sit and eat, and so we are not regulated the same way as, say, a restaurant would be. I
see. And so if you wanted to go back, like for summers, right, and have a nice little
then I would have to be licensed differently, and I would have to have public restroom access and different licensing. So for now, we'll just kind of stay where we are, and people come and pick up their treats and take them to their parties and wherever they need to go.
How did you work up the financial requirements? How did you make a business plan?
Well, I actually have a business management degree from Northwood, and so putting that together has been in my repertoire for, since I graduated in '05. So it was just, I already kind of had an idea of how to do it, and so I just went for it.
Does Northwood have, or were your professors, did you feel comfortable consulting them if you needed to or wanted to?
The only one, I don't have really a relationship with my professors anymore. It's been so long.
Yeah, yeah.
So
that happens. And so that helped you with the economic planning, so you know.
Right.
And when you plan something, do you plan to carry it for a period of time, such as 3 months, 6 months, 2 years?
When I was putting together, I was, figuring the first few years of how I wanted to go about, any changes I needed to make or anything like that. From there, I do have some longer term goals, possibly a second location, but that'll probably be at least 5 years down the road, if not more.
And just for audience, say, what are the kinds of things that you have to put in financially in reserve when you make a plan like this? like rent, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, you have to figure in, you know, your rent, and let's see, there's business insurance that you have to hold.
Oh, really?
And then you have to figure out payroll and supplies and what it takes to make the product and packaging and, you know, your phone, your utilities. There's a lot to consider, a lot more than I had thought originally.
Mm-hmm. And equipment repair.
Yes, and within my first week of taking over, I've had to have a freezer fixed.
Oh.
So, you know, it's been a lot of trial and error, a lot of, oh shoot, this is going on, what do I do, who do I call? But it gets worked out.
How do you determine beforehand what sells or what could sell by way of product?
Yep, you do. Well, being that I've purchased an existing business, so I tried to take a look at what was already selling well and leave it alone because it's doing well. And then you kind of look at, you know, your sales and see what maybe you could change a little, and maybe the way that its appearance is or anything like that, and promote for sure on social media for sure. But you also take a look at your competition and see what they're offering and try to, you don't want to do everything they're doing, but you know, you have to stay competitive.
Yeah, cousin too. Now, social media means what in your case?
We have a Facebook page. We recently started an Instagram and a Twitter. So I have one of my employees, you know, manages all of our social media and posts on those a couple times a week. Hopefully more soon. We'll be offering specials and that you can only get on our Facebook page. Different stuff like that.
By way of price or by way of product change? Pistachio.
Right. Well, we will also post our different flavors on Facebook. If we're like throwing out a new flavor we don't always have, we'll post it. A new treat that we're offering, we'll post it. But also specials as far as like a Facebook special.
Oh,
if
cute.
you see this on Facebook, print this out. You can only get it if you got it off of Facebook.
Cute. Very cute. And do the people who watch Facebook, would you say they're a particular age range?
I don't really know. I'm thinking that there probably is a demographic of your probably mid to late 20s, early 30s, 40s, you know, that middle, I don't know if that's considered middle age, but that age group. Hopefully, we're trying to reach out to more college students with Northwood being local, you know, and hopefully a little up to the older range, being that there was a bakery in town that closed recently that was more for the older community.
Are cupcakes a younger product in the sense that Northwood kids would like it versus
I don't think
more
so.
Senior?
I don't think so. I think cupcakes is across the board. It's a small treat that you can, you know, instead of buying a whole cake, you know, you have a cupcake and it's a smaller version of what you really might want.
And how do you decide should they be light or dense?
It totally depends on the flavor.
What would be an example of dense?
Well, I don't know. I guess a more dense flavor would probably be your chocolate tends to be a little more dense, but your white is a little more light and fluffy. So,
But if there was more, instead of more heavy, if the cupcake was more heavy, that's what I consider dense. What makes it dense? I'm coming from a wedding that I once went to, and the middle layer I think was carrot cake. Anyway, it was something like that, and it was. I mean, you were cutting through something rather than sailing through.
Actually, egg yolks make it more dense. The egg whites make it more light and fluffy.
Does weather depend on the output of the product?
The outside, yes, and not as. I don't think it has much to do with the inside unless it's, you know, not covered. But sometimes the weather can have issues with the frosting, and, you know, if it's too hot or too cold, it doesn't smooth quite right.
Oh, interesting. Do you feel there's a difference in output depending how you mix the ingredients?
Yes, yeah, there is. If you, especially with frosting, if you not necessarily order, but for length of time.
Say it one more time.
So not as much like the order that you put the ingredients in,
okay,
as more as how long you're mixing it for will adjust, you know, how it bakes or how the frosting smooths.
Can you give an example of that?
Well, like if you over-mix your frosting, so you're when you're whipping it more, it gets more air in it. So then when you try to smooth it on a cake, you have more air bubbles and more air that you have to contend with.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
There is a lot.
Do you go to any of these cooking schools, or are you beyond that?
No.
Or how do you keep yourself fresh?
I wouldn't say that I'm beyond it, but no, I have not gone to cooking school. Everything I know I've self-taught. I do have one employee, though, who has been to culinary school, so she kind of is teaching me, actually, different things here and there. I just stay up, I don't know, it's all trial and error. It's recipes online, it's family recipes that, you know, I was taught when I was a kid.
That's really interesting. It's a lot of courage to start like a place, isn't it? To start a new business.
Yes, it was terrifying, but I'm learning and I'm getting the hang of it, and I have a lot of support in my life, and the employees I have been great in the transition and, you know, dealing with me learning as I go, because science is a first for me. So.
And what is the responsibility of your employees? What does each do?
They all pretty much do everything. Not one person just does one task. I have a manager who's been there for 4 years, so she's done a lot of holding my hand, I guess, for lack of better words, to help me, you know, figure out where I need to be, what I need to be doing. But everybody pretty much, it's a team effort. We all do everything.
And what is the everything they do?
Well, as from baking to frosting to helping customers, taking orders, making our truffles, which are a huge hit in Midland.
One's over the cheesecake.
Yep, everything.
And the one over the cake.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting, very interesting. And how many employees are there?
There are currently 6 of us, and that includes me.
That's a lot for a startup. You're getting a lot of experience, aren't you?
Yeah. So I only have to manage 5 of them, unless, well, I have to manage myself, I guess. But I have one intern from Northwood who is learning. She's actually the one that's helping us with our social media. So she's putting her learning, everything she's learning in school, to use
in a practical
to help us.
way.
Yep.
What have you had to learn?
A lot. I've had to learn how to manage my time and how to not only manage my time throughout the day at work, but to manage my business life to my personal life. I've had to learn how to manage people, you know, a little better, and just how to run a business. It's not as easy as one might think, but it's not as hard. It's not an unattainable goal for those that are maybe thinking about it.
And you have a family.
I do.
So how do you sequence family time and responsibilities with work time and responsibilities?
It's been some learning curve. I try to make sure when I say do our schedule for the week that I'm taking some time to not be at work and spend it with, you know, my husband and my kids, and you know, they help me. They figure out, well, they help me around the shop. My husband's great. He's done a lot of, he's our maintenance guy.
Oh, that's
so,
handy.
you know, if I need help, he comes and helps me, and the kids will come and help me if I need help with something. Or so everybody's been very supportive.
I like the idea it's a family effort.
Yes, definitely. It has to be that way, but I have to know how to walk away and let my very talented manager do what she does and know that this shop will still be standing when I come back.
Yes,
so,
truly.
Yeah.
And is your family entrepreneurial?
No, I'm the first that well, as far as immediate family, my uncles have all done their own thing. But as far as me and, you know, my siblings, I'm the first. So.
And what started all this? What values were your parents driving you to have?
Well, I came from my single mom, and so watching her bust her you know, all when I was growing up. And it just taught me to just go for what I want to do and go for my dreams, and I can have and do anything I want because she could. You know, it taught me how to work hard. And
working hard is the basis for everything.
Yes.
Don't you think? I mean, all the talk, it comes down to work.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm still in the kitchen, and I still, you know, frost a cake and decorate a cake. I'm not just in the office, you know, doing that. I'm still out there working hard just like I was before. I feel like that's important to show my employees that I'm still one of them. I'm not just over them. So.
Yes. It's more teamwork.
Correct. Definitely.
Now, is it a 7-day proposition, or are you closed on Sundays?
We are closed on Sundays, and we are open like a half a day on Saturday. So it's a 5.5-day week.
And how would you get the word out that you are now in business and you are now offering, in addition to what you'd like to add to it?
Well, this is a good start.
It is the best.
I'll probably, you know, soon be running, you know, stuff in the paper, maybe social media. Facebook is key. Word of mouth is definite. Those are two really big marketing tools, I guess. Nowadays, for sure.
Nowadays.
Yep. Word of mouth is huge, and social media is big right now, especially with the younger crowd, and you kind of gotta go with the times.
I know, electronic. And why did you pick Midland versus another community in the area?
Well, my kids go to Auburn schools, so I just wanted to stay local, and the business was up for sale, and it seemed like it was a good fit.
Is it something you have been dreaming of for a while?
For probably a year and a half or so, a couple years, that I've been thinking about and dreaming about owning my own shop.
Why was it interesting to you?
I don't know. It's just something. One day, my son asked me to make him a birthday cake. Okay. But he wanted an outrageous birthday cake. He wanted a monster truck cake. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So I looked it up, and I looked at the pictures and the instructions, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. And from there, the next one, my daughter asked me for a laptop cake. And every birthday, it's a new goal, a new challenge that they want me to try to. So then it became a challenge to perfect what I had started. And then it just became fun. It's fun. It's fun for me. So I decided that I needed to be somewhere, I want to have a career that's fun as opposed to going somewhere that I don't like to go every day.
Yes, what a blessing to combine the two.
Yes, totally.
Enthusiasm and persistence and follow through.
Definitely.
And what a model for your family, too, just like your mother did for you.
I try.
Well, we're all models whether we choose it or not, so we might as well be on the better side than the not so better side. Don't you think? We learn good and bad from I think anyway.
Yeah.
By observation, interaction, reading about social media, whatever, it's all out there. So you really kind of choose. And the Auburn schools, I guess you're in the Auburn area, or did you elect to go to? Send them to.
Nope. That's where we live. We live in Bay County, so they go to, by being on this side of the river, I think they go to Auburn schools.
I see. And so now that you're into this new part of your life, how would you say you've changed as a person?
Oh, I don't know. I would say that I hope to still be mostly the same person I was. I feel I'm becoming a tad bit more confident in my abilities to do what I've decided to do in my life. But mostly I'm hoping I stay true to the same person that I was. I don't want it to change me too much.
One of the things that's true about me is that if in things I start, I really do see the end, but things always go wrong. It takes longer, something happens. And I just see it as, okay, we've got to handle this. You know, and it's really freeing. I'm surprised that other people just don't don't allow pushback to keep me down, even though I may fall down.
Right.
Temporarily, but for a while. So that's I think a good thing to know that A, it takes longer, B, you have to hang with it, C, you have to be very imaginative, and you must have good people with you,
Yes.
don't you think?
Yes, definitely.
And I don't know, once they're hired, do you do a job performance review, or how do you?
I'm working on that. Most of these girls, 3 of the girls were already there when I purchased the shop. One of them I hired after. So there probably will be performance reviews soon.
Because they teach you that.
It's going to be, yeah, they do. And it's going to take me, you know, watching them. I do a lot of watching just while I'm working. That way I know what I need to bring to their attention at, you know, some later date. But, you know, I think as the times go, there will be performance reviews and, you know, checks and balances, make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, because we have to continue offering the high quality product that our customers expect. So.
And do you have sort of monthly meetings or weekly meetings with the staff?
We pretty much do like a daily, what you would want to call like a stand-up meeting. So it's when you first get there, you're standing, nobody sits, so that way it's for sure to be quick. And it's just a quick, you know, let's go over the day, this is what we have to do, this is what happened yesterday, and then move on. Instead of taking, you know, 3 hours once a week or anything like that.
That's a really good idea. Has it worked well?
So far it's working. Everybody seems to be staying on the same page and getting done what we need to get done.
When people get in a bad mood, or they're doing pushback, or maybe they don't do it for you, but usually you find it somewhere.
Oh, everybody has their bad days.
Yeah.
And, you know, because we work so well together and we are relatively close, we tend to be friends also even outside of work. So we know how to try to bring them out of their funk, or, you know, try to talk about it. A lot of times we are their outlet, you know, so that if there is something bothering them, we kind of like, all right, get it off your chest. So let's talk about it. Let's get it out, and it helps. It helps to be able to have people to talk to.
It does help people to have someone they can trust.
Right.
To talk to. So dealing with it right away is really a good thing.
Oh, definitely. Otherwise, you have this big elephant in the room for half the day, because you don't know if you know how they're feeling, and you know you don't want to have to try to walk on eggshells to make sure you're not making somebody mad. So it's more of a, hey, are you okay today? You know, you seem a little quiet, and then just get them talking, and then you just can move on through the day after that.
Are they problems to do with work or to do with outside?
Sometimes I'm sure there's things with work, and that's why I like having the manager I have, because people feel comfortable going to her if there is an issue. But a lot of times it's, you know, everybody has stuff going on in their personal lives, and you know, you try really hard to leave it at the door, but sometimes you can't. And that's why it's really good to be able to have people you trust that you work with that you can just talk to, that are considered friends and kind of like a small little family.
And sometimes they have really good ideas, too.
Yes.
That have missed you, or they hold up the mirror.
Yeah, or they've been through it before and, you know, can offer a little advice.
God, you're good. No, because I think the human interactions and the sense of flow is so important in any business, in any enterprise involving other people. Absolutely. So, well, I'm thinking that as you go forward, that it's good to have, as you mentioned at the beginning, dreams. And I just wonder that, not the nature, you don't have to tell me, but what kinds of things do you ask yourself before you get to the next step or the dream?
You just ask yourself, are things working the way they are? And if they're not, what can I do to change them? And what is my dream? Is my dream to have a big corporation with 15 bakeries? Or is it to stay small and local? And anything is obtainable. So you just have to push forward and, you know, make sure that what you have is working and running well, because you don't want to keep moving on with a dream and then have the beginning of the dream fall apart. So, I don't know, I guess.
Talk to me more about anything is possible.
Oh boy. Anything's possible. Anything you put your mind to is possible. I don't know, I guess that was instilled to me when I was growing up. And I tell my children that. You can be anything you want. I don't want them to go and be something they think they should be, based on what it pays.
Right.
Go do something you enjoy. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable your whole life.
Thank you very much. Well, there's a lot to say here, and I think Bridget has a very good sense of place, philosophy, competence, and courage. And she's taken something, as she said, that she really cares about doing, baking, and managed to find a way to put it in the public arena that can be teaching her something else, and that's how to be a business owner, how to do sales, all of which she trained for when she went to Northwood. And I like particularly the idea that she's very open to doing the right research of getting what she needs to do before she does it. And also the human side, that she's very modest but very careful about people relationships and how to make them a whole lot better in the moment or in the day. Very important for all of us everywhere. You know how I end the show every time. So I really want to encourage you to take some of her wonderful ability and look at your life and see, is there anything I really want to do, you know, that's driving me? And just conjure it up and see if you could think about doing it and broaden your life. And remember, go out and do something nice for someone you know and someone you don't know. And I will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in.
To contact Junia, send her an email at info@juniadome.com. For more information, program schedules, and news about future guests, go to www.juniadome.com. Thanks for joining us. See you next time for Uncommon Sense with Junia Doan.
Local productions on QTV are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.